Hello and welcome to the first Match Day World Cup edition Google Hangout. Today I'm joined with Moran and Danny. Obviously it's full-time hangout between Brazil and Croatia. We just witnessed a 3-1 win for the native Brazil. The match being played in Sao Paulo, and I'll start with you, Moran. How great was it to see the emotions in that Brazilian national anthem with Julio Cesar nearly coming to tears, turning the music off and just letting the whole stadium serenade to that Brazilian anthem?
Oh, it's a great moment. That's what you expect from a country as passionate as Brazil. You know, they care about their football, but again, they care about their country because it's a family there. That they're a family over there.
Now going into the game, obviously didn't get off to the best of starts. It looked like they had another Brazilian left back playing in Andre Santos. He would have definitely done something like that with his shaky defense, but in fact it was Marcelo with the own goal. Talk me through your emotions during that first half and how you thought Brazil and Croatia each played.
I think the back four for Brazil is going to be the talking point this whole tournament. I think really that's their only cause for concern. You see with Marcelo and Dani Alves, they get caught, you know, coming back, going forward. So that's going to be something that maybe some other teams of better quality than Croatia will possibly exploit. Neymar and Oscar were on point today. A little cautious about Hulk. I don't know if he can really put it out there on the wing. So that's also another talking point. But attacking-wise, Brazil looked great though. Brazil looked great.
Danny, obviously the thing that's going to be taken from this match today was that penalty decision by the Japanese referee to call a penalty on the supposed foul on Fred. In my opinion, it was pretty shady. I would not call it a penalty, but give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find many people who thought that decision was a penalty. I mean, if Brazil get decisions like that all tournament, then, you know, it's going to be a big advantage for them. Yeah, crazy decision. I didn't even think for a second that he was going to give it, and then all of a sudden it was a penalty. Keeper should have saved it as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair, the keeper could have saved all three of those goals.
Maybe you could make an argument for the second and third, but I think Neymar's first goal was good enough, right in the corner. It went off the post. It didn't have huge amounts of power, but I don't think he really had a chance on that one. And on that goal, I thought Neymar really stepped up today. He showed today why he's the poster boy of this World Cup, Moran. And you saw the players that showed up for Brazil and the players that didn't show up for Brazil. You had the Neymars and the Oscars, but then you also had the Hulks and the Freds. What do you expect any changes going forward for them in the later stages of the Cup? Because Bernard looked good when he came on, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think, you know, maybe against Cameroon, I'm suggesting, or whoever their next match is against, possibly Mexico. I think Bernard should get a look on the wing. I think, you know, the speed and pace he provides and the trickery will suit well with that front line. What else? You know, there's something about that midfield partnership between Gustavo and Paulinho. It just doesn't really click for me. I feel like
it feels too open. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like they're just too defensively. I don't see, like, I expect there should be one that's really a box-to-box, a threat going forward. I just didn't see that from Paulinho. So maybe you can slot. He's not really that much quality. I think I'd really like Hernandez in that position for the next match. I think Hernandez is a great quality player. Apart from that, I think Brazil looked sharp today. I think Oscar, you know, seeing how Fabregas came to Chelsea today, I think that really motivated him to really put out a top-notch performance today.
Let's not talk about that Fabregas transfer today. But one player that I think should be in the team. I think Bernard was excellent when he came on, and Hulk really didn't show much to me today. But Danny, I think one player that played well today was Luis Gustavo. He showed why Arsenal went after him 2 summers ago, and they showed. I think we should go after him again this summer because the way he filled in that center defense mid role was great. He didn't really have the chemistry, as Moran said, with Paulinho, but the way he was covering for his center backs, and you do need to cover for your center backs, especially if you're playing with David Luiz. I thought he was good today. What are your thoughts on the Brazilian midfield? Danny?
Yeah, they played pretty well. I think I'm going to wait to make my decision on Brazil when they get to the knockout stages and play big teams like Germany, especially like Neymar. I don't rate him as highly as everyone else does. I'm going to wait till he plays against the big teams and see what he does. I thought Oscar was man of the match today.
Yeah.
Everything went through him. He's always looking for the ball. And that shot early in the game when the keeper saved it, he couldn't have hit that any better.
Yeah. Ryan, let's move on to Croatia. I thought they came out well today. I thought they were pretty unlucky. I like their style. They're very direct. Well, not direct in a sense of long balls, but with the ball, they were very direct towards net. They played a good counter-attacking style. I thought they got unlucky. They were really missing Mandzukic today. I thought maybe with Mandzukic they could bury some more chances, but I like their midfield. Modric, Persic on the left, on one of the wings, and then Rakitic looks quite the player. Obviously, Barcelona signed him this summer, so he has some quality in him. What do you expect from Croatia going forward in the tournament?
Well, they're a top European club squad, so they're no joke in world football. What do I expect from them? I don't rate them too highly in the tournament. I think I have some praise for Mexico. I think Mexico's pace, their trickery. I think that's a good team. That's a team that could be.
You think Mexico beats out Croatia in that spot?
I think they're just too quick of a team for a Croatian team. That as solid as they were today, they couldn't handle the trickery for the whole match. So that's something Mexico's gonna use in their match against Croatia.
Fair enough, but I think the trickery of Brazil is going to be a lot better than the trickery of Mexico. I think Croatia are going to come out the group. I think they have a good talent going forward. They're missing Mandzukic today. Question marks maybe at the back. Chorluka, ex-Spud, who knows. But, Danny, what do you think of Croatia and their chances going forward?
Yeah, I think they've definitely got the ability to go through. Whether they will or not is hard to say. I think the other three teams in that group, aside from Brazil, any of those three could go through. It just depends who shows up on the day when they're playing each other. With Mandzukic, if they play like they did today, then they could surprise a few people, I think.
I think one thing before the tournament that I was kind of scratching my head was that Felipe Luis did not make the Brazilian squad, and the thing going forward for me with the Brazilian team in this World Cup is the imbalance of their defense. Players like Marcelo and Dani Alves are great when they're with their club teams because, you know what, you could consider them defensive liabilities, and you accept that because of their quality going forward. And when they're playing with their club teams, for example, let's say Barcelona, Piqué, in the past they've played with Piqué, Puyol, and Jordi Alba. Those three players aren't very many. They're not defensive liabilities, and you accept that maybe one out of your back four could be a defensive liability. But when you have three, I'm going to say Marcelo, Dani Alves, and in a sense sometimes David Luiz, that's a recipe for disaster, Moran. And I just don't see that back four holding up all the way to the final.
Well, I don't want. Well, just to correct you, I think Jordi Alba is probably a bigger defensive liability than Dani Alves.
But you know what I mean. Like when three out of the four of your back line is considered maybe a defensive liability, I just don't see it. It's not very balanced in my opinion. I think if you put someone like a Felipe Luis instead of Marcelo, it'd be more balanced.
But I think the Brazilian, Luis Scolari realizes that. So I think he's just going with the mentality that I think we're going to score more than you. I think that's what he's going for with Alves and Marcelo on the fullback. So I think he's just trying to outscore the other team. So do I fault him for that? Sure. But when you come against the top squads like Germany, potentially an Italy or Uruguay, these teams are going to put on some goals too. So it comes to who's going to make the last stop. And to be honest, after watching this match, I don't know if Brazil have that potential in them.
I just feel as if the way Croatia were creating their chances was all the space they had on the wings, and then with that space they crossed into the danger zone. Obviously they got their goal from that, but also other chances in the box, and that's where I think a Mandzukic would have really helped out. But Danny, give me your thoughts on Brazil's chances going forward. Give us a prediction. Obviously it's only one match, but the finals, winners, semifinals, what do you say?
I think when they play against the big teams, if they get it right, they can really exploit just sitting back, soaking up all the pressure, wait till like Marcelo and Alves, their defensive midfielders are pushed right up, and then just hit them on the counter. So yeah. I think if the other teams recognize that that's their weakness and they can exploit that, then I could see them going out as soon as they play in Argentina or Germany or something like that. But then again, host nation, it's really hard to say. I feel my head says that as soon as they play a big team, they're gonna come up with problems.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Well, the advantage, obviously, the home crowd, the energy in the stadium was fantastic. I'm going down to Brazil on the 26th, right around when the knockout stages start. I have tickets for a quarterfinal match, but just the energy in the crowd and the way that translates to the referee maybe could be a factor going forward, because honestly, like, the referee today was pretty brutal. He was making bad decisions both ways, in my opinion. He wasn't consistent at all with his foul calls, but obviously I think Croatia got the raw end of basically it was their disadvantage by the ref, and that penalty call was a real shift in momentum in the match. But who knows? Moran, any last thoughts on the match today?
No, because there's 63 more, so I think I'm fine. I'm good for today. I think I'll just enjoy the rest of it.
Same with you, Danny?
Yeah, same as Moran. I don't want to make any predictions after game one. I think so many things can happen, twists and turns along the way. I don't want to look a fool and say something now would be wrong in like 5 days' time.
So to wrap up today, obviously Brazil with a 3-1 victory, and going forward, we'll be providing hangouts for some of the bigger matches in the World Cup, games with Arsenal players involved. We'll be looking at all that. Today, no Arsenal players involved. An ex-Arsenal player was on the bench for Croatia, and Eduardo, fan favorite there, but it was more just the first match that we wanted to cover. And I know Robbie, he's at the Brazilian part of London right now, and I'm sure he'll come back with some great interviews later tonight, early tomorrow. Who knows when they'll be up, but I'm definitely excited for them. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll hope to provide you guys with more hangouts, more analysis, and all that stuff. It's gonna be a fun month, and we'll be here for the ride. Cheers.